According to a new report from NBC, the federal grand jury for the classified documents investigation into former President Donald Trump is expecting to meet again next week. It's unclear whether prosecutors will seek an indictment at this point, but let's bring in our panel, the host of the Tudor Dixon podcast, Tudor Dixon, and Newsmax insider and contributor, our friend Tom Borelli here in studio. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Tom, we'll start off with you. You know, the FBI director, Christopher Wray, finally agreed to turn over internal documents relating to an alleged Biden family bribery scheme to the House Oversight Committee. The committee is set to receive the document Monday. Can they expect this document? What do you think there's going to be? A ton of redactions? Is there going to be any information left in it other than an is and a the? Or will they be able to actually read some substance? Maybe not names, but some substance. What do you think?
Hey, Michael, who knows? But we've seen other redacted documents where it was a blanked out black page. So who knows? But I have to tell you, I am relieved that the documents actually go in the House of Representatives. We have a system of government where there's checks and balances, and I was concerned that Wray was going to do what Eric Holder did when he was head of the Department of Justice, where he was in contempt of Congress, and he just said, go pound sand. So I'm glad that actually the document's there. But the big question is, did the FBI investigate the elements raised in the document? That's what's most important.
You're absolutely right. That's the seminal question here.
Certainly. Tudor, I want to turn to you on something now, because Chairman Comer was interviewed on Rob Schmitt Tonight earlier this week, and he spoke about how much he says the Biden family made through illicit overseas deals. Let's take a listen.
How much money are we talking?
$5 million on this one. But, Rob, I think you're going to see that the Biden family took in somewhere, we've already proven $10 million. I think that this is going to end up being somewhere between $15 and $30 million. That will
adversarial country, or just
adversarial country.
Really?
I tell people the most reputable country that I have found that the Biden family was taking money from was China.
So, Tudor, if this document shows evidence of $5 million being paid to the Biden family, what do you think should happen next?
Well, in addition, you have to remember that he went on to say that the country that is in this document, that they believe this document will show, is a country that Fortune 500 companies would not even do business with. This is, at this point, we're talking about treason, and something really has to happen. And the question is, what is that? Because if we remove Joe Biden from his seat, then we have Kamala Harris, and everyone is concerned about that. But you have a man who was willing to sell out his country to get money personally. This is a complete scandal. It's the most corruption we've ever seen in the history of the United States. And this man who was willing to do this as vice president was so arrogant that he then ran for president and is now president of the United States. What are other countries thinking? What are our allies thinking when they look at our country and they say, wow, they've got this corrupt Federal Bureau of Investigation who is holding the document that shows that the person leading the country is totally corrupt and taking money from countries who want to do us harm. It is shocking, and something must be done.
Well, again, Tom, I'm going to go to you. I want to just preface that you know, this is still allegations at this point. It hasn't been fully vetted and proven yet, but it can never be fully vetted and proven if the FBI doesn't do their job. So let's just keep that in mind. So what do we know so far? You know, right now we know there's an FD 1023. So that witness came forward, and that was filed in June 30th of 2020 and contained a reference to $5 million. That's a lot of money, you know, especially right now when all these families are hurting. You know, what did the FBI do? Is that true? Obviously, it's true because they're bringing the document. What's the next step here, and what is the FBI protecting, if anything?
Well, I think the key point here, the document was made or available in June 2020, before the election. We also know the FBI sat on the Hunter Biden laptop. They've had that since December 2019.
It's almost like creating a pattern.
Yeah, you would think, right? As a former FBI agent, that's a pretty two short dots to connect there. There's a pattern here. There's a pattern of a weaponized, politically weaponized Department of Justice and FBI. And what should happen next? This document, whatever it says, it should be investigated to the full degree. But again, that's up to the DOJ. That's not up to Congress. But Congress and the House of Representatives, Comer, are doing a good job pressing it. Again, I'm really happy that this document is actually going to find its way to Congress, because that's what our system of checks and balances requires.
And we don't have much time left, but Tudor, just before we go, how do you think that this is going to impact the election, this news here?
Well, certainly this is why you see Democrats now stepping forward, especially Democrats in Hollywood who are saying, wait a minute, we have to have options, because it sounds as though people are getting nervous about this president running again. So I think it has really catastrophic effects for the Biden administration. And you see them all in kind of panic mode. We're not going to talk about the election. They're putting out the Hatch Act. Everybody's trying to protect him. But I think this means good things for Republicans if we can make sure we get the investigation out there.
I couldn't agree more, and I think after the Hunter Biden laptop situation in the last election, where that information was really squelched, that did have an impact on the election. So I hope we do have free and fair elections without the DOJ or anyone else putting their thumb on the scale. Tudor Dixon, Tom Borelli, thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And there's plenty more to come on Wake Up America Weekend, only on Newsmax. We'll be right back.